Alright, today we're going to talk about area of parallelograms and triangles. Alright, a parallelogram. Parallelogram has two sets of parallel sides. So in a parallelogram, the left side's parallel to the right side, and the top is parallel to the bottom. This red dimension right here, this vertical dashed line, if it's perpendicular to this base, if it's perpendicular to the bottom of the parallelogram, then it's also perpendicular to the top. That dimension is called the height. Base and height. Are always perpendicular. Base and the height are always perpendicular. The base and the height always intersect at 90 degrees. In all shapes, not just in parallelograms, in all shapes. So the area of a parallelogram is equal to the base times the height. Area of a parallelogram is equal to base times the height. The length of the base times the length of the height. Alright, so let's find the area of a couple different parallelograms and take a look at this one right here. Alright, here's the dimension. You got a 15 and you've got this piece down here on the bottom is 7. And the top is 17. And you're asked to find the perimeter and the area. Alright, so area and perimeter. Perimeter is the sum of the sides. Okay? So look, if this left side of this parallelogram is 15, then the right side is 15. If the top of this parallelogram is 17, then the bottom is also 17. Okay? What you're missing is the height. And that's this dimension right here. But what they've done is they've told you that this is a 90-degree angle. And if that is a 90-degree angle, then this triangle formed on the left-hand side of this shape is a right triangle. Alright? So your 7 squared plus your h squared equals your 15 squared. So you got to do the Pythagorean Theorem to find the height of this parallelogram before you can find the area. So let's say that h squared plus 7 squared equals 15 squared. So your h squared plus 49 equals 225. 225. And you can subtract 49 from each side. Your h squared would equal 176. And then you could square root each side. And 13.3, h would be equal to 13.3. Alright, so your height here is 13.3. 13.3. Alright, so here's your base, 17. Here's your height, 13.3. So the area is going to be equal to 17 times 13.3. $226.1. Alright, the perimeter is the sum of the sides. So the perimeter is, you got a 15 plus a 15, which is 30. And then you got a 17 plus 17, which is 34. And 30 plus 34 is 64. So there's your area and your perimeter of the shape. Okay, area and perimeter of this parallelogram. If you want, you can do the perimeter first, since it's simpler. Alright, if the bottom is 20, then the top's going to be 20. If the left-hand side is 30, the right-hand side is 30. You got two 30s, which is 60. And you've got two 20s, which would be 40. That would make the perimeter 100. Now, you've got this 60-degree angle here that is across from your height. And this is a right angle. So this forms a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. Okay? In a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, this 30 is the hypotenuse. Half of 30 would be this piece of that right triangle. Okay? We did that earlier this year when we did special right triangles. So this piece right here would be equal to 30 divided by 2. Alright? So the bottom piece of this triangle is 15. In a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, the long leg, the leg across from the 60, is the square root of 3 times the short leg, which means that this height of this parallelogram would be 15 times the square root of 3. And you can do that in your calculator if you want. So 15 times square root of 3 is 26. Alright, it's 25.98, so it's 26. There's your height. So the area of this triangle is going to be equal to your base, which is 20, times your height, which is 26. And 20 times 26 is 520. Alright, you'll see a problem like this in your assignment today. There's your height. It's perpendicular to the base. And now you're told that this angle in here is 45 degrees. We got a 25 up top and a 6 right here. Okay, so if this top is 25, then this bottom is also 25. And in this case, you're missing the height, okay, to find the area. And you are missing this leg right here, or this hypotenuse, to find the perimeter. But this 45-degree angle is a clue. Meaning, if this height is perpendicular to the base, then this is a right triangle formed over here on the right. And if one of these angles is 45 degrees, then the other angle is 45 degrees. Which makes it an isosceles triangle. Which means these two legs are congruent to each other. So that automatically makes your height 6. Okay? Now, in a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, it's another type of special right triangle. And the hypotenuse is equal to one of the legs times the square root of 2. So this hypotenuse is equal to 6 times the square root of 2. Which makes this left side of the parallelogram 6 times the square root of 2. So for your area, or let's take this and multiply it first. In your calculator, you can do 6 times 2 square root. Which is 8.48. We're going to use 8.5. So the area is going to be equal to the base, which is 25, times the height, which is 8.5. And 25 times 8.5 to 12.5. And your perimeter would be the 25 and the 25, which is 50, plus 8.5 and 8.5. Your left and your right side are both 8.5. So 8.5 times 2 is 17. And 50 plus 17 is equal to 67. Okay, so that kind of goes back to what you've been seeing. The information that you need to solve the problem is in the picture, but it's in there indirectly. Anybody have any questions on finding the area and perimeter of a parallelogram? Alright, here's your practice problems for today. Page 783. 1 through 5. And 8. and 10 and 11.